Good morning and welcome to Ayubowan, Sri Lanka. Today we have with us Mr. M.M.Zuhair, and he is the President Council and also the former Member of Parliament and also the former Chairman of the Rupavahini Corporation. Ayubowan, Mr. M.M.Zuhair. So now today when we are going to start this discussion, the political campaigns for the presidential election is unraveling, and it's a very highly sort of tensed up situation. So a main allegation that is directed at the government is also concerned with respect to bribery and corruption. And the allegation is that there's unprecedented corruption and waste when it comes to the government. So what are your comments on it?
Thank you very much, Deepamala, for giving me this opportunity from Ayubowan, Sri Lanka, to have this discussion and also exchange views with our viewers and listeners. I'm glad that you raised this matter regarding this situation of tension. But I think, in my view, as far as the government is concerned, they are not in any tension whatsoever. I think the opposition appears to be very much tensed up, and they seem to be raising many issues all of which the government is ready, willing and prepared to answer effectively and accurately. First and foremost, I would like to deal with the issue of corruption that you had raised. These allegations first are being bandied about through unreliable mechanisms. Like in the internet, anybody could have access to internet. SMS, probably anybody could exchange views. I'm not condemning those media, but generally media of this nature, people who don't have sufficient material, sufficient evidence, sufficient documents to officially place this material through legally authorized institutions. We have many such mechanisms. If people can make use of those, then it will be much better, because the government can effectively answer those allegations. So,
Mr. Zuhair, what are those mechanisms and what are the ways and means where people can bring that in a more credible manner? And if we are talking about the legal base as well, what are the ways in which corruption allegations can be made in a way that it is credible? If you are saying that email and SMS is not the best way to promote it. And I also want to know how many of such allegations are made by the opposition, that is in the proper methods and means. So what are the proper methods and means of exposing corruption, and how many such allegations are made?
Right. Now, if those who are making these allegations have reliable, credible documents or evidence or reliable material on which further steps can be taken, they may have by now taken those steps. Now, if you take the bribery commission, we have a commission which is headed by a former Supreme Court judge. No one has gone with any of these allegations to that commission. Probably that would have been the best place to go and place the material. Now, if you have documents, evidence, material to be placed, why not go and place it there and support it publicly, instead of using dubious mechanisms which can be misused, abused by anybody. But if you are going there, you cannot make false allegations. If you do make false allegations, you can be charged. Maybe people are reluctant because of that. Right. I will tell them of other mechanisms available. When it comes to abuse of power or misuse of power, corruption, bribery, they can go to Parliament. Any member of Parliament could have raised this by way of an issue. There is specific provision in our constitution to which I will come to very briefly later on. But what I wish to now mention is impeachment of the president. There had been previous instances when former president has been impeached for abuse of power and misuse of the office of the president. Now, I am very keen to mention that it is ordinarily difficult. Let me not place too high a reliance on impeachment, because impeachment has to be supported by at least a majority of the members of parliament. One MP alone cannot do it. But so far, no attempt has been made publicly to gather a group of MPs, prepare a list of allegations, and then go before Parliament. Even if you find it difficult to get 112 MPs, but at least why don't you prepare a document, support it with credible evidence, reliable material, and then show the country, look, this is how these gentlemen have abused the power, particularly against the president if you have an allegation, abuse of power, misuse of the office of president, corruption, bribery, even if it is just a mere misconduct, that can form the foundation for an impeachment in Parliament. Let's say that is also difficult. Why not go to courts? You have provision, Article 38(3) of the Constitution, which says if you have some material, credible material, that the President of the country who happens to retain any portfolio. Now in this case, President of Sri Lanka has with him two portfolios of importance. One is defense. Many allegations have been made regarding defense. He is also the Minister of Defense. You can go to court, sue him, and you see, if you have material, you could have exposed that. Why have you not done that? This is the question I am asking from the opposition. As Minister of Finance, finance is another important area. If you have material, you should have gone there. Instead of, circulating discredited, wrongful material before the public. I wish to warn on this matter that it is an offense. It's a violation of our law. It is a criminal offense to circulate false information through the internet. Very often young people, youthful people, without knowing the danger of spreading this false information, they are circulating. But if a police officer were to detect and find this false material in his mobile phone and he is circulating it, or he is allowing it to be circulated, he could be arrested. It's an offense. It is also defamation, which is a civil offense. One can go to the district court and claim damages. So
if that is the case, if that is the case, like, can't the government, if these are false information, and there are emails being circulated, and it can account to defamation, if can't the government say, okay, fine, these are false information, and then can't they go to court and disprove them if that is the case, if these emails that have been circulated to messages are wrong?
Yes, it's a good question. In the sense, it is difficult to disprove a non-existing fact. But if you have a fact, you can prove that fact. So the parties who claim that they have these facts in their hand should go and place those before the appropriate authority. They have not done that.
Have they not done that in any instances, any allegation? Because I was also under the impression that the presidential candidate Sarath Fonseca was alleging and saying that there was order for artillery's worth of $300,000 US million or something to that effect, and this story was also published on Leader. What are your comments on
in
that?
fact, that was the only exception. As you will see, before I come to that point, that I will also like to mention, I have with me, of course, the newspaper which carried this. Before I come to that, I will just mention the fact that there is also Article 42 of the Constitution, under which the President of the country is responsible to Parliament for his execution of his functions, duties, and his powers.